they've got a back line that could be Colwell, Badiashile and Fofana. It's average age 21. You go into the midfield. Now, they've spent 280 million on Lavia, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. 280 million. Average age? 21 again. And you start realising this isn't a bill for this season. This has nothing got to do with this season. They would like it to be successful this season, but you don't put a squad together like that at that age group. And I'll go further, by the way. Jackson, Mudryk, and up front, Chukwuemeka. Average age? 21. So you don't do that and expect to win a league. You do that trying to build something from a much, much deeper core.
So that was Pat Nevin. He played 193 games for Chelsea, scored 36 goals. He said that when asked about whether or not Chelsea are title candidates, what are the expectations for this season? Well, clearly, yes, we do have an extremely young squad. And so he puts the expectations extremely low. But I'd like to add more information there because we are still Chelsea. We are supposed to be fighting for titles, right? We are supposed to qualify for Champions League. Now, I'm all for developing talent. I'm all for attracting young players, etc., to build for the long-term future. But at the same time, it is extremely important to add experience to the squad, to add players that know what it means to win a title, to know what it means to play in the Champions League. There's zero reason why we should have 11 young players on the field that have never won anything. I'm not saying nobody has won anything in the squad, right? We have a World Cup winner here. We have a Champions League winners as well. But I'm saying as a whole, we need more experience. We need players that can make an instant impact. That's something I've been saying for a while, something that Pochettino is asking as well. And yet, for some reason, we are always linked with players that me personally, and probably a lot of people as well, have barely heard about them. And the only reason you might know about them is because suddenly the big accounts on Twitter have started to talk about them. And then you have these compilations on YouTube. Welcome to Chelsea, player XYZ you've never seen before. I mean, come on. I'd rather us go and sign a player with experience instead of being linked to the Brennan Johnsons, the Cherkis, the KUDUS or whatnot, which by the way, they can be very, very good players in the future. I'd rather us go for the likes of Vlahovic, for Joao Felix. Again, Joao Felix, he was at the club last season. Extremely talented. You can see the talent when he plays. This is exactly the player we needed to replace a player like Hazard. Hazard does things when nobody else thinks of doing. I'll explain. When the game is completely locked, when the opposition team just plays with 10 players in defense, Hazard was the player that can unlock that. As Vincent Kompany said, Hazard loves chaos. You bring him chaos, and suddenly he turns the magic on. The same thing with Joao Felix. If you've seen him play, not just last season at Chelsea, because last season the whole Chelsea team was absolute garbage. But if you've seen him play with Portugal, if you've seen him play at Atletico Madrid, at Benfica, you can see the talent. You can see that he can dribble past players. He can unlock defenses. This is exactly what we needed. And then Vlahovic, we have a striker problem right now, especially since Nkunku is injured until at least the end of this year. He knows how to score goals. Played in Italy, plays for Juventus, played in Europe, Serbia. I mean, we are being given a great opportunity here to get rid of Lukaku and get an incredible striker for us. Of course, we have to pay a bit more, but I'm sure they can figure out a deal because, I mean, we've just spent 200 plus million on 3 midfielders. So, yeah, we can figure out a small sum for Vlahovic. Now, then he was asked about whether or not Chelsea should go on the market to buy more strikers, and this was his response.
I mean, Jackson and Nkunku will probably score goals if you give them opportunities. Funny enough, I think Kai Havertz would have done the same if you give them opportunities. But you need to find a way of developing those good opportunities, and that's been Chelsea's problem. We know that. I think it was four wins in the last 28 domestic games. So that can't be a plan that's a short-term plan, because if it is, it ain't working. It must be a longer-term plan.
So he clearly believes that Nicolas Jackson and Nkunku, and by the way, he did not mention Amandro Broja, so he thinks that Nkunku and Jackson are good enough to score those goals. The only problem here is again the creative aspect. They need the opportunity to score goals. In my opinion here, he's completely wrong. I mean, last season, we've had plenty of chances to score, right? But it's that last thing that never happened. I mean, how many assists could Enzo have had? Could even Jorginho have had? Mount? I mean, Hazard, I don't even want to talk about it. This guy was robbed each and every week from an assist. But the problem here is not the creative aspect. We create. I mean, every single week we have over 10 shots? Yes, maybe not on target, but that's the thing. These guys up front, the Nicolas Jacksons, the Nkunkus, I mean, okay, we had the Moratas and the Lukakus and the Aubameyangs. Fine, those were the issues. But that's the thing. Those are the issues. The creative players are here. We have them. We have people that can cross the ball. We have people that can pass the ball. We need more people that can finish it off. That's been a problem for a while. I mean, we've had it very, very well for years. Fabregas, Eden Hazard, Juan Mata, Oscar, Diego Costa, Lampard, Drogba. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? And now we have to figure it out. But to me, the main issue here is that I feel that the recruitment is extremely focused on bringing in young talent because they view this as more of an investment rather than a let's go win games today. In my opinion, that's just a very, very bad way to look at this. Of course, I don't own the club, I don't run the club, but I've been watching football for a long, long time. And to be honest, seeing a club like us invest in only young players, bad things will probably happen. And I don't want us to turn into an Arsenal or an Manchester United that go years and years without winning a title. But if we continue like this, I mean, I don't really see why that won't happen. Again, it's not that difficult. Buy experienced players that can have a direct impact. You can still have 6, 7 young players in that team, but if you have at least 4 or 5 experienced players that can have that instant impact, it's going to help the whole team significantly. They can add the experience, they can explain to the younger players what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, where can they improve, how can we win better, what do we need to do. Because if you have a team filled with 21 years old, I mean, what do they know? They've been playing the game at an elite level for 1, 2, 3 years tops? When you bring in players that are 25, 26 years old, well, they've been around for a while. They've seen the European scene for a while. And so, while I do think that we need strikers, I also agree we need creative players, but enough with chasing these unknown, maybe potential superstars of the future. Let's start going after experienced, settled players. Thank you very much. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.